Where did your high school crush end up in life? My high school BF cheated on me with a 14-year-old while we were 18 in my parents' house I was letting him live in after he dropped out of college after 2 weeks and his mother wouldn't let him return home. That pretty much shattered me for years and years. He ended up getting a drug possession charge. He had to have surgery on both of his knees. He became extremely overweight. He was married for 11 months before getting a divorce. He lost all of his hair. I do wish him all the best, but I'd be lying if I didn't feel some sort of justice in his obvious karma. She works in the building next to my work. See each other occasionally. She and I have gotten back together at least once during our 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I have had sex with the same woman in 4 different decades of my life. We agreed that if we are both still single, when we hit 50 we need a hookup to keep the streak going. Local politics. Township supervisor. He is not very bright, but is attractive and listens well. His lack of brain power suits the job well. He is sympathetic, but never actually does anything as a leader. He will go along if many people want something. He can sit through long boring meetings. He doesn't have the brain power to disagree or argue. Nice guy. Great looking. Lump on a log. Perfect as a politician. I actually reconnected with my high school crush when I was 27. We hung out every day, messed around, all the perks of dating, but he wouldn't commit. He met some other chick who obviously liked him, but swore to me they were just friends. It wrecked me, but I was stupid in love with him, and kept on going the same as always. This went on for 3 years, until I met someone else. He flipped out. Even though he could hang out with whoever he wanted, and we were just friends, he didn't want me to date anyone. I had a very serious conversation with him where I flat out told him I would end things with new guy if he wanted to give this a serious chance, and he still couldn't commit. He wanted me to always be there for him, but wanted the freedom to do whatever. I realized how selfish he was. Our friendship ended, and I started dating new guy seriously, and now we are newly married. Last I heard he was still living at home at 37 with no job, and dated that girl he swore nothing was happening with for about 6 months, until she dumped him. We started dating right after we graduated, which was only 2 years ago. We were inseparable. Not a day went by where I wasn't with him. Spent the night together all the time. For some reason he was a vapor, important later, and I hated that part of him. Then, he lost his job. Okay, whatever, he got a new one like 2 weeks later. Lost that job. Another one. Instead of paying bills or even taking us to do something, he spent all his first paycheck on vape mods and juices. Then the idiot lost that job. Spent his last paycheck on more vape bullshit. He was then jobless, couldn't pay rent or insurance or anything. He maximumed out his credit card. I always bought him gas, and if he wanted a shirt I'd buy it for him. I spoiled him on Christmas a bunch of shirts, belt, and a gas card. He gave the gas card to his dad for cash. His dad and mom gave him money and checks. Instead of paying off his credit card or something, he bought more vapes. For Christmas he said he wrote me a song. Gave me the lyrics, said he was finishing it on the computer. I was fine with that gift, I loved it. I paid his car insurance, which was $180. He said he's pay me back every time he got money vape. In February I asked about the song and he threw his laptop down and said he'll finish it when he wants. I said that was fine. Then he said shut up, I can't handle this. Then he said he was leaving me. 2 hours later he posted he was in a new relationship that cheated on her too. She left him BC, he can't handle his money. His parents took his car and kicked him out. He's homeless, works at Six Flags part-time. I have seen him once since the breakup. He came into the restaurant I work at and made a scene saying, if he sees me ever again he'll assume I'm following him and I should know he eats there, and how dare I work there just to stalk him. We kicked him out. She's working for a McDonald's franchise owner of 10 stores doing payroll and customer complaints. Sometimes I call in and say my cheeseburger was cold and I'd like a refund. and she tells me to shut the hell up and don't spend too much time after work at the bar because she's making lasagna. She came home with an apology note sarcastically laced with swear words signed by the owner and a free Happy Meal voucher. She was 15, I was 16 when we met. We've never been apart since 1988, except when I was shipped out for a bit in the US Navy. Married almost 26 years now, and raised 4 awesome sons. About 5 years after college I ran into her at a bar. I was my friends who knew some of her friends. I lived down Tare Street from her for like 15 years and always thought she was the most perfect girl in the world, but she was cool, and I was not. Well, at the bar she had no idea who the hell I was. Definitely was odd for me as I had worshipped her forever. Now I'm happily married to the love of my life, kids. So no harm done. I just found it odd that she had no idea I existed. My crush in high school, we ended up together and then broke up in university before it even started, and then she dated one of my friends and now she's with him for the last N years. We don't keep in contact, but whenever I see them, I feel nothing but friendship. Didn't even bother me they were dating, and they did meet each other by chance. It is a pretty small world. She's doing well though, like super smart, making tons of money, and I'm here on Reddit. He's really smart, and I expected him to go to an Ivy League or something. He ended up not going to college, and opened his own barbershop business. It really changed my perspective on the expectation that college is necessary. He's living proof that, if you have a dream or a vision, and you work hard, you will be rewarded. He's now currently engaged, and just opened his second barbershop. She's a drug dealer now, and she is marrying some douchebag who works at his dad's company. It's me. She's marrying me. I'm a douchebag. And her drug dealing is legal. She's a pharmacist. She did really well. She spent a lot of time in school, got a few degrees, and married this really awesome guy that who is crazy about her, has a good job, and is amazing in bed. We are really happy together, and have a bunch of kids, cats, and a giant dog. She's like literally sitting right next to me on the couch. But for about 20 years, she wasn't. We crushed on each other in high school, but never said anything to each other. We both went our separate ways, and had our separate lives. 20 years down the road, we ran into each other, and found out that we both were getting divorces. One thing led to another, and we've been married for 5 years now. Couldn't be happier. We were best friends, and loved each other more than anything. But we were stupid, and never single at the same time. We'd still sleep together when she had a boyfriend, but we were never an item. Both of us always spoke about how we'd end up together down the road. Then she got engaged. That threw me for a loop. On the day we were supposed to get tattoos together, not matching or anything, her fiancé accurately said he didn't want her talking to me because I'd be a risk to their relationship. So she asked me what I wanted her to do, and she'd do it. Loving her like I did, I told her, if she could see herself happy with this guy for the rest of her life, I'll step out of the way. She removed me from Facebook, and we didn't speak for nearly 10 years. I creep her profile from one to time and see her husband, and her 2 kids smiling and happy. That alone makes it worth it. It was the single most difficult decision I've ever had to make, and the one I both regret, and am most glad I made. No idea, we were close friends back then, but when she got a boyfriend we were seeing each other less and less. Then I got a girlfriend and we never saw each other again for some reason. A few years later she contacted me once she was single again with clear intentions of something else, but I was still taken and loyal. A few years back I tried to recover that friendship, but now she's married, and her husband didn't like the idea of an old friend showing up out of the blue. For some reason it's my fault, she says. People is weird. Sadly, she died 2 years ago at the age of 41. Went from the blonde-haired cheerleader from a very good family, to the girl who liked to party hard in college, to the girl who liked to party even harder after college, to the girl who moved to California with a bad boy boyfriend, got tatted up, and tried even harder drugs, to the girl with a drug problem, To the girl who got clean and moved back home. To the girl who fell for a guy with similar past demons. To the girl who fell off the bandwagon. To the girl who partied one time too many, fell into a coma, and died. Was the prettiest girl in my whole school, in my opinion at least. We did a school play together in 5th grade. She sang in our church choir in middle school, and used to write me notes. She used to give me rides to school in high school, when I got in trouble and my dad took my car. She was the one who talked me back into playing football, when I had got discouraged and wanted to quit. We went to different colleges and our paths went far away from one another, but I always kept myself in the loop of what she was up to and such. She had 2 beautiful little girls along the way that now live with her mom and dad and don't get to have mommy anymore. Breaks my heart. She was my first crush. She was my all-time crush. But she's gone. I always thought we'd end up reconnecting at least, but I never even got to say goodbye.